Hey guys, it's Creamsicle time. Let's have a good night talking about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's do this thing. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready for some creamsicle football? Guys, let it sink in. Anybody who's been a Bucs fan for any length of time, guys, soak it all up. Enjoy the thought. The greatest quarterback of all time is going to be in the creamsicles. It gets no better than that. The greatest quarterback of all time is going to hit the field next season, not this one, in creamsicles. That's right, guys. It got approved, apparently. The NFL has finally let that stupid rule go where now you can wear more than one helmet. And, guys, we're going to see the creamsicles back on the field. It doesn't get better than that. We're back, baby. The creamsicles are back. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. I mean, I really can't begin to tell you. It's that makes my day more than you guys could realize. I'm a Bucs fan going back to day one. So for me, this is just a little slice of heaven. I mean, when it came out, they it is a year away. It's not this year, but that's all right. Brian Ford he came out, he talked about the fact that, okay, it's done, guys, that they've put in their request, and it's time, my friends. Get excited. Get happy. It's time. Everything we've been waiting for, guys, all those, I mean, if you're anything like me, you are a huge fan of those uniforms. I am actually glad that they're not coming back like that, like they're not wearing them all the time. I love the fact that they do it once a year. I think that's fun. I would love to see them do it in the playoffs. What would be perfection to me is, I believe they won their first Super Bowl in red jerseys, the second Super Bowl in white jerseys. Let's go ahead and win the third one in pewter jerseys, and then let's win the fourth one right here in creamsicles. Nothing would make me happier than to see the creamsicles on Super Sunday. Does not get better than that for me. I am happy, guys. I am so excited that the creamsicle uniforms are back. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are back wearing the orange. The orange uniforms, the creamsicle uniforms are coming back. Hallelujah. What do you guys think about this? Are you guys as excited as I am? I like what Fabian says. Fabian says, take my money. That's exactly right. Hey, Adam, how you doing? Adam Rivera and Matt Colson, who will be in here in just a minute. Everybody's here. All you guys are here. Guys, it doesn't get much more exciting and much more fun as a Bucs fan. We're going to go to the stadium. If they do what they did before, guys, on Throwback Sunday, what they did, it was fantastic. The music that they played in the stadium, like in between plays, and you know how there's always all the background music. It was all 70s music. It was freaking awesome. They did a fantastic job. I hope they do the same thing again. I really do. All right, let me bring in Matt Colson. Matt from OKC. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
What's going on? How about a little creamsicles? What's going on, my friend?
I intend to start collecting my bottle caps and aluminum cans.
Yep.
Getting together about $180.
Yep.
And getting a customized Doug Williams 12.
Nice.
And I'll wear that proudly every week.
Yep.
They can have TB 12. That's cool. But
yep.
My 12 is the other guy. But I'm happy they're back.
Man, I'm excited about that. I am so excited about it. We're gonna get to. I'm gonna be sitting in the stadium in Tampa one more time and watch those orange jerseys come running out. I mean, that to me brings back so many memories. There's so much about it that's great. I got to tell you, it's funny. My mom was a huge Bucs fan, right? And my mom used to make fun of the orange jerseys. Even she was like, yeah, that fruity pirate on the helmet. And she was so happy when they got new uniforms and everything. And then I remember the day my mom said to me, I wanted them to change so bad, but I kind of miss those uniforms. And I don't know if you saw, but Mike Evans called them the best throwbacks in the league, and he said he couldn't wait to do it. He posted that on Instagram today.
I believe that. The only thing that's more fun to me is the Bumblebee Steelers.
I love those uniforms. Yeah. Yeah, I love those uniforms. I would not even mind if the Bucs had done something like they took the Steelers uniforms and made not Bumblebee, but red and orange striped, just like theirs.
Right.
Just did their version of it. And it was like, okay, we weren't around back then, but if we were.
Rugby shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
That news that they're going to do it is great news to me. I don't know. Are they allowed to wear the old helmets too? Is that what the helmet was?
Yeah.
So we're going to have Bucko Bruce on their head?
Yep. We're going full on white helmets with Bucko Bruce and the whole 9 yards. They have the ability to do all of that next year.
What they need to do is get the old Buccaneers end zone band. You remember them from back in the first couple of seasons?
Yep.
See how many of them are still living around the area and bring them in and let them do hey, 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 we're the Buccaneers.
Yeah. On
a big old trombone and whatever, and really throw it back. That'd be cool. Yeah. Drive a Baja Bug out there with Bruce on the side.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going to put him because all the seats are sold now. It's not like the old days, brother.
That's crazy in itself. When I read that,
it is.
I was amazed.
Yes, it is. Everybody, by the way, Johnny Dean said it perfectly. Please pound the share button, subscribe, share, all of that. Please do that. It would be much, much, much appreciated. Yeah, make comments in there. Talk to me. I read the comments. I do watch this. I think Johnny Dean says the Steelers Bumblebee Texas chain gang looking unis are so horrible. Oh, they're so horrible. They're awesome.
That's what's so cool about them. The other one that was really nice was the antique Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Back when they first started doing the throwbacks.
Yep.
I don't think they wear them that much anymore, but they're memorable.
Yeah. I just like the more plain, the most basic and plain that you can get on football jerseys. I love. Right. I mean, if they could just do like what they wore in year one, a lot of people don't realize the first year, the Buccaneers, the jerseys were not white numbers with red around them.
Right.
A lot of people don't remember that. They were just white numbers.
And the cameras couldn't pick it up.
Right. But if there was a way they could come back out just like that, as plain old school as you can get, that would just be awesome.
They could use them now because the cameras are so much better that I don't think they'd have that color read that they were having the issue with. No,
and especially with 4K TVs now, not it wouldn't be a problem. I don't think it'd be an issue at all.
Yeah, I think. So what game are they going to use them?
Well, no, they don't know. It's not this year. It's next year.
Oh, it's next year. Okay.
Right.
So TB12 may not even be here then. We might be running.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He already said he's going to be here for more than this year.
No, I'm just kind of starting a fire. That's all.
Yeah. Eric Scott. Eric Scott, says originally we were supposed to be orange and red with green.
Yep.
Also, the NFL shot it down because we would have been too close to the Dolphins. Actually, it was the University of Miami that they were going to look very much like. It was going to be teal and orange, I believe, is what it was supposed to be.
And I think the teal was too close to the Dolphins color.
Okay, I heard it was basically they looked like the University of Miami, the original plan.
Anyway, they did it.
Right.
It took them a couple of years to get it nailed down to where it was the proper thing, and then you couldn't wear them with anything but blue jeans. I mean, there was no way that you could go to work in a Buccaneer shirt. It just wasn't going to happen.
Oh, I don't know. You could wear them with white pants with the orange.
Right. With
you
the white
could do that.
And the little loafers with the
remember in Florida, you could dress like that, you know. That's all that's beach attire. You could wear that creamsicle I still think it looks weird with khaki pants. I know a lot of times people wear them with khakis. I just think it looks weird with khakis. I like it with blue jeans. I like it with white, but I'm not a huge fan of now if you're a man enough to wear red jeans with your orange shirt, God bless you. God bless you. But yeah, let's see. What does Johnny say here? Johnny says, WFT unis now look great. What's WFT?
I don't know.
Look great. Once in plain, it says football to me. I'm not sure what WFT is. Washington football team. That's what he says. Unis look great now. That's what it is. Yeah, I agree, Johnny. I love their uniforms. I think they're fantastic. I think it would be cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They actually took a negative and spun that so much properly.
They did a fantastic job with it.
Yeah, I don't think they're in any hurry to name the team now. I think
they got it right. I think it very well may just become the Washington football team permanently, and I'm okay with that. I just don't want to see everybody follow suit.
No,
I don't want to see the soccer name now become the thing in the NFL. I just don't want to see that.
The club.
But Andrew Faubert says the Seahawks throwbacks will be sharp. Well, they won't be worse than what they're currently wearing. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the Seahawks uniforms. That lime green horror when they were wearing all lime green, that's just terrible.
That was the Oregon colors.
Yeah.
But when they came out in 76, they were blue, weren't they, with silver?
Yep.
Isn't that right? Blue.
Yeah, they look great. Those helmets were nice. I liked those helmets. Yeah.
And their jerseys were dark blue, not green. I don't remember a green coming up.
What I want to see is I want to get to the point where they go ahead and the NFL should just do this. Okay, let's just embrace let's just go with this. You know what Oregon does with their football team? Every week they're in something different.
Right.
Let's just embrace it. You know, let's just go with it.
Do is sell more.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, just do it. Yes, just do it. I mean, you know, I don't care if you wear. I don't care if they wear 7, 8 uniforms, 9, 10 uniforms throughout the year. I don't care. Let's just have some fun with it. Who cares? This is not, you're not going to hell for it. It's football. It's not religion. It's not, it's nothing that matters. This is just, it's a game. Let's have some fun. You want to wear some cool, funky uniforms? Go ahead. Just when they start getting really wild. When they start getting really wild and crazy is when you lose me. Like that whole color rush thing. And the Bucs had that one game that looked like ketchup versus mustard.
Yeah, the Condiment Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing, I think, Pittsburgh, wasn't it? It was yellow. Who was it? The Rams. Was it the Rams?
I don't even. You know what? I can't remember who it was, or the Chargers, or I don't know. Whoever they were playing, but it was terrible.
Yeah, red on red with yellow on yellow. It was for a guy who's colorblind.
And that's what happened. And that's what happened. The colorblind people couldn't tell the difference between the teams. And that to me is just hilarious.
We all felt like Vinny Testaverde for just a moment.
Yeah.
We got over that.
Just weird. I don't know if you heard, but there's a Lightning game tonight. Perhaps you heard.
I have heard that, and it's some kind of final game. And
yeah, something like that, huh? Game 7 of the NHL playoffs. Game 7 to see who goes to the Stanley Cup playoffs. This is a big deal, guys. Game 7 is what it's all about. If you are a Lightning fan, by the way, guys, this is why I am on early tonight. I am on early tonight because I know the game's starting. The puck drop is probably in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so. I'm going to go for probably about an hour tonight. It's probably about what I'll do. And then I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here so I can go watch the game. We can all watch a little of the game tonight. I'm excited about it.
What network are they going to broadcast that on? Because I bought ESPN today and subscribed to the Plus.
I'm guessing NBC. I'm guessing.
Well, see, I thought it said on the web that it was ESPN, so I went and got all that, spent that money. So I guess I'll watch UFC.
I will tell you in just a moment. Let's see. It is on NBCSN.
NBCSN.
Yep. NBC Sports Network.
I'll have to go dig that one off.
Yeah. NBC Sports Network.
Whatever happened to the day where you had 3 channels and you had to go out and spin the damn antenna? That's all I need. If I want to watch Monday Night Football, I had to go outside and turn it 4 or 5 degrees to the left.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be.
Yeah, no, I remember those days. Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, you had NBC, ABC, CBS, and then if you got on UHF and you were real careful, you'd get some of those fuzzy, like a PBS station and maybe 2 local stations if you were lucky.
In Tampa, we had Channel 16 was PBS on the other side.
Yep.
And 44.
44. I remember in Orlando, we used to try to pick up Channel 44 because you could watch all the Gilligan's Island and Brady Bunch reruns you wanted after school. Like,
right.
Yeah,
that was about TV. Everything I learned in life, I got off of Ozzie and Harriet and a bunch of crap you watched after school that turned out in real life to be completely useless information.
Yeah. Yeah, those shows were not realistic at all.
No.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
I remember having a discussion as I got older as to whether Carol Brady was divorced or a widow, because that never was discussed.
Oh, okay.
She ended up marrying somebody, and they don't tell you why.
Right. Yeah. Why were they? What he was a widower, right?
I believe so, but I don't think they really ever delved into it. I think they wanted to keep that off on the edges and let your mind wander, because you couldn't do that. You know, they weren't allowed to sleep together. They couldn't be in the same bedroom with the covers back. It's crazy. And nowadays, everything I watch, I kind of look at and go, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
that's on TV now.
Well, yeah, but it's funny how silly it is that a husband and wife couldn't be shown in the same bed together,
right?
And things like that. I mean, there's a point of when everybody's like, "Oh, it was better than." Really? Because there's some silly things. I had this conversation with somebody today where they said, yeah, back like in the 1930s, things were better then. Everybody dressed, sharp all the time. You always tried to look good. You were, and I was like, and racism was rampant. And I mean, like, there were so many things that were horrible, and I don't know, and I'm going to go ahead and touch on this, guys. I'm going to go ahead and touch on this. Derek Chauvin got 22 and a half years for murdering George Floyd. And I saw people online complaining, saying that's not long enough. And I saw other people online complaining, saying that's too long, which tells me it was probably correct. And the thing is this, I'm only going to say this, and I normally do not get into politics, and I'm very much not a get into politics kind of a person, but I will say this: if you kneel on a man's neck until he dies, you should go to prison for a long time.
Well, when you're 49 and you're going for 22 years, by the time he ages, if he makes it to that end, he's done a life sentence. And his mother said, when he does get released, regardless of when it is, his father and mother won't be here anymore, which that's sad, but it's tough. I mean,
that's why you don't kneel on people's necks until they die.
Yeah. And
right.
My mother was a cop. I was raised around cops, and I never knew a cop that would ever think that that's the correct thing to do.
Correct.
I understand what got him there. That was wrong on George Floyd. But once he was at that point, he wasn't a problem anymore. And they should have continued that for nearly 10 minutes in front of a crowd of people and not give a damn.
Yeah.
The whole thing shocks me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was shocking. The whole thing was shocking. It brought our country in many ways to an inflection point, and I think that's important. So what George Floyd, what that entire thing did, regardless of whether you want to point out George Floyd's faults and failures, Derek Chauvin's faults and failures, the faults and failures in the legal system, what did happen is this. I believe the United States is better today than it was prior. That there was
because
growth.
of the awareness.
Yes, but that's an inflection point, and that's how you grow. And as a nation, I'm glad we did. I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I do want to say to this country, I think we're better today than we were a few years ago when it comes to this particular subject. I'm not saying everything is solved, but I'm saying we're better today than we were a couple of years ago. We've learned some things, and I think as a nation, good for us. So let's set that aside.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You said all you need to say.
Yeah.
That was
so anyway, the whole thing. Oh, and by the way, Monte Kiffin. How about Monte Kiffin? We know he's going to be in the Ring of Honor, right?
He's about 97 now, right?
Yeah, he's old.
Cappuccinos every day,
and he'd still kick your ass. But the thing is, what I'm happy about, what I was thinking about today, and I was having a conversation with someone today about is, okay, so the Bucs can bring back the Creamsicles next year, right?
Right.
Is it James Wilder or is it?
They need to put Wilder up there. I sent you that.
Wilder or Hardy Nickerson or both that go in next year.
All three of them. They had Hardy Nickerson, James Wilder, and 93 for 02. What was it? Simeon Rice.
Oh.
In that article that I sent to you. And that was the three options, and they were discussing it. What shocked me about it was how many records of James Wilder are still on the books.
Yeah, you sent that out, and that was you sent that into the miscreant chat, and that was interesting.
Right. And I wasn't aware that those were still there. I thought that he'd gotten erased by somebody, Cadillac Williams or
nobody's had complete seasons for the Bucs. Everybody gets injured, they're out for a while. We haven't had a complete season running back kind of thing, and it's a specialist now, a specialty kind of game now. So it's different. Back in those days, if you were a running back, you were the workhorse, you were that. They don't do that anymore.
It used to be James Wilder left, James Wilder right, James Wilder on screen pass. And if that didn't work, we punt. That's the way they did it for years.
Right.
And
but now
that's when I was growing up, and you saw that guy, and he was the offense. When Doug Williams wasn't throwing the ball, James Wilder had it. And whoever Doug Williams threw to, it was usually Jimmy Giles or Kevin House. So there was like a three-headed monster for what it was worth. Yeah. And that's who we were. And I think that the time has passed so long now. I don't know what the Glazers' issues are with first-generation Buccaneers or, the Culver House era people. They don't seem to put them in there. And they may not have been here for you, but they were here for the fan base. And we need to give him some kind of credit. We had his kid out, and he's so old. His kid came and tried out for us back, was it last year?
Isn't that crazy? By the way, Eric Scott asks, how much room is left on the ROH? What is that?
Ring of Honor.
Oh, there's plenty of room. There's tons of room. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
Seriously, I wonder what team has the most players in their Ring of Honor, and is it 2 rows? I'm sure it's Dallas. I'm sure it's Dallas, and there's plenty of room. Yeah, there's plenty of room.
Those teams that had championship histories, which that was not the Buccaneers, they had an awful lot more people they could put up there. I think in Soldier Field, you got Ditka and George Harris.
I'm hoping the dude is out here. If the dude is out there, I want the dude to call in if he could. Hop on the link if he could, because I want to point out something. I had a conversation with the dude today about this subject and about it was about the Ring of Honor and about who should be in it, who should not be in it. What we talked about it, and we talked. I mean, there's. I want James Wilder in? Sure. Yes. Am I going to lose sleep over James Wilder being in it or not being in it? No. I mean, I think my thing is I'd like to see Wilder and Nickerson get in. Induct both of them on the same night when they're wearing the orange. Go ahead and do that. And then next year, let's go ahead and really start getting to our first Super Bowl team. Because the thing is this, guys, and here's where the kicker comes in. And this is what I was talking to Dude about earlier today. The Bucs have won 2 Super Bowls. If you win a 3rd Super Bowl, you're starting to get into rarefied air. You're starting to, if you win a 4th, you're in the conversation of the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers and things like that. The Bucs are in that conversation if they win, another Super Bowl. They start to reach that rarefied air of 4 rings, and it's just a different kind of world. Now, I get it. It's not the Patriots. I get it. It's not the Steelers. But if you're one of those other teams, you've got to be looking back over your shoulder and thinking, it's coming. Okay, good. Here we go. Here's the dude. We got the dude here. The dude and I had this conversation earlier today about rarefied air and Super Bowl victories. What are you thinking? Are the Bucs going to win 1 more, 2 more? Or what are you thinking, dude?
Well, I mean, obviously you want them to win it every year, duh. But
thanks for that insight.
Well, I mean that's the goal for every team. That said, right. I think the Buccaneers need to. The Tom Brady experiment's already deemed a success because they got a ring, right?
Yep. Right? Yep.
But I think that's Buccaneer fan standards over 40 years of suffering and brutality that we've experienced. It's kind of like a PTSD type thing for the fan base. Like, we got a Super Bowl, that's all that matters. Whereas I think with Tom Brady, if he doesn't get at least 2 while he's in Tampa, in other words, if Brady doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, he's majorly disappointed.
Right.
So I think he plays 2, maybe 3 years with the Bucs, and we get at least 1 more. That puts us at 3. And that's what Rick was alluding to, I believe, is when you hit that 3 threshold, you're in that elite air of franchises. Okay?
Yeah.
But of all the teams that have made that 3, we've got to be the most bipolar team that's involved in that.
Oh, there's no doubt.
My God.
There is no doubt. We're either winning the Super Bowl or sucking for a decade and a half. I mean, there's nothing in between.
So,
I mean, we're cutting off our wide receivers' fingertips. That happened to Bert Emanuel, I think it was. Got his fingertips cut. It wasn't Bert Emanuel. It was, who's the guy who came from Dallas?
It was Alvin Harper.
Yeah, Alvin Harper got his fingertips cut off. We've got guys whose feet get MRSA, and they're basically about to lose. I think he was a kicker.
Well, keep in mind
with the kicker.
The Buccaneers don't care about all these freak injuries and accidents. And the proof in the pudding is Antonio Brown damn near froze his feet off last year before the Buccaneers signed him.
In a cryo chamber. What a moron. It's just a moron.
The Alvin Harper thing, I think it was a blessing in disguise because, let's be honest, in retrospect, as a Bucs fan or even an NFL fan, Alvin Harper didn't have a goddamn thing to do with the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl those years. He had decent stats that were padded because every team was putting 17 guys on Michael Irvin.
Exactly. Right. He made a paycheck on Michael Irvin, and he owes him a little bit in his trust fund. I mean, that's the truth, because as soon as he got away from him, we saw the real deal, which was junk. Just absolute junk.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But with the Super Bowl, if you hit 3 as a franchise, we've all seen the pie charts on the internet or the rankings of franchises with X amount of rings. There's a booty load with 2.
Right.
Uh-oh.
And the Bucs are 1. You get that 1 extra, now you're up there with like 5 teams.
Right.
You get 2 more, now you're in there with there's 3 other teams that have that many or more, I believe. So if Tom Brady brings an additional Super Bowl to the Bucs, not just the one, I know,
Right.
we're greedy, and puts the Buccaneers with 3 Super Bowl rings, to me, that is as much to cement his legacy as anything else he's done in his career, because up until last year when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, whether Bucs fans want to admit this or realize this or not, 90% of the league thought our first one was a fluke.
Right.
You only got it because you knew the Raiders playbook, and the Raiders were missing their center, and blah, 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 blah. Dungy, Tony, Dungy, Gruden, blah, blah, blah. So then if he comes in and wins like he did last year, wins another one, puts us in that rare category, to me, that's a bigger accomplishment than anything he's had in his career, to take a franchise that's, let's be honest, is the losingest franchise in NFL history.
Well, let me say something. To take another franchise, because before Brady, the Patriots sucked. I mean, I don't think they won a ring before him. So they would be his second team that he totally changed their stars.
Right. The only and I totally agree that what I will say is the Patriots had been to at least 2 other Super Bowls before Brady got there, but never won one.
They got trounced by Chicago, though. I mean, they showed up, but they weren't playing.
Right.
Let me
bring in
with Parcells too.
I believe so.
I can't remember because I didn't pay attention to those guys.
The one I remember most is Craig Morton getting just pounded on in 85.
Yeah. Well, let me bring Mean Gene. Let me bring Gene in here.
Oh,
how you doing, brother?
Good, man. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great. We got Gene from Buck. What you heard here. This is awesome. This is a good crew. So, Gene, what? I mean, when you think about, first of all, what are your first thoughts over the Creamsicle coming back?
I don't know. It just brings up PTSD for me. I remember burning my tail on a hot metal bleacher seats.
Yeah.
The big sombrero. I remember getting into fights with Green Bay Packer fans and getting into fights with Minnesota fans because they were obnoxious, and it wasn't a good time. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I had good times with the people I was with.
I was gonna say you were sitting with the wrong group, because I had a great time during those days, even though we sucked.
But at the end of the day, the Bucs weren't winning, and that's what I equate the Creamsicle to. Now, what you have to consider is that you have a younger generation now, and they didn't go through going to these games and seeing nothing but Packer fans or whoever decided. And when it was a cooler game, people were coming out of the cold, coming to Tampa this was a vacation, and your team needs to win too. So, I mean, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay, all these cold climate places, and they could come to Tampa. And that's what I remember about Creamsicle. And you know, I understand the nostalgia. I get that. But just everything that I remember about it, other than, you know, getting to spend time with your family and hanging out.
That's a big deal right there, Gene, because that's what it is for me. That's what I remember. I remember hopping in the car in Orlando, the Pontiac Catalina.
Oh my.
Okay. I remember hopping in the Pontiac Catalina and the leather seats there and decorating it. We put streamers on it, red and orange and white streamers. And we drove, you know, we were allowed to decorate the car. And drove I-4 over to the Bucs game, and there were other cars that were decorated. People did this in those days.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This was a time where you could bring your cooler. You could bring a cooler full of beer and sandwiches. Just bring it in, and you had it. That was a family event getting to go.
Yeah. It was great. It was so to me, man, listen to the 70s music and
pretty much.
What's that?
I don't think I ever paid more than $15 for a ticket during that time, ever.
Yeah.
And I sat in the between the 240s on the shaded side of the field.
Yeah, but those are great memories. I mean, I think about that. I think about those days when, you sat there and cheered on. I remember cheering on Steve DeBerg, and I remember, you know, the throwing Samoan. Yes, the throwing Samoan, and I remember. I mean, yes. I watched Randy Hedberg live and in person. Okay. I saw those. I was there for those days.
The Lehman days.
You know, I have physically seen Booker Reese on the field. And I mean, I remember those days when when all that was going on. And as horrible as it was, and you're right, Gene, you could smell bacon on those metal seats from your thighs cooking. Okay. I remember how brutal that was. And now, I mean, and they had those fake orange seats. Those fake those seats that you could that would clamp on, and then you just left them there when you were done. And or you brought your little
seats,
what's that?
They were bucket seats. They were like the ones in an auditorium or something with the legs cut off.
Yep. And you remember you could buy, they sold them in the stadium, these like 1/4 inch thick vinyl Buccaneers branded pads that were barely any kind of padding at all, and you could put them on the seat to try to keep you from burning yourself.
Yeah. Well, you remember the ones they used to sell? I think Sears had a exclusive on them, but they were maybe 2 inches thick with foam and hard frame and a Buccaneer fold out. And then it clipped on the front.
Yeah, where the back came up and it just had the one bar across.
Yeah, and you could buy yours, and carry it with you and use it on the guy from Minnesota that's giving you a bunch of crap. I don't know how many times I saw those things used as bludgeoning devices. It was scary. But it's part of home team, you know what I mean? That was a good time.
And I have to point out one more very fond memory of those days, and that was the cheerleaders during those days.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what age I was. I was that magical age where all kinds of hormones were pumping through my body for the first time, and I'd look down and I'd see those cheerleaders, and it was like I barely watched the game sometimes because the swashbucklers were right there, and I could afford to sit up nice and close. What's that?
I said there was your entertainment right there.
No joke, man. But the team certainly wasn't. Yeah. I remember watching Doug Williams throw the ball away. They were playing Pittsburgh. It was 4th down. The Bucs were driving for a winning score, and Doug Williams threw the ball away on 4th down to stop the clock. Okay, and it was 4th down.
Oh my!
That was a Brady maneuver.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got all those memories from those days, guys. I remember all. I promise you, whatever horror memories you have, I've got them with you because I sat there too.
Now, and see, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I do have a Doug Williams jersey.
That's a good one to have.
That is a great one to have. I had a Ricky Bell, and I moved a lot. When I was younger, and I don't know what happened in that jersey, but that was one that I would have kept. But again, I'm not doubting. I'm not saying anything negative about them bringing these jerseys back or these colors back. I think it's kind of cool to see them sometimes, but just for me personally and my personal experience, and I just felt like the team wasn't trying to the front office wasn't doing anything to try to win.
No, they weren't.
Until Sam I Am got here.
But I don't think it's so much a matter of remember how good those days were. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more that it's the nostalgia, like you brought up. It's the remember the 70s music. I remember them playing Elton John over the speakers in the stadium and Rocket by Herbie Hancock. I mean, I remember those days when there were Tony Romo's the place for ribs commercials that they would play over the speakers and
scoreboard that was like a pop-up projector screen. I mean, that thing was terrible. They
borrowed it from the drive-in.
Yeah, right.
I remember all that. There would be burned out lights on the scoreboard,
right? And those stupid animations.
Yes, but that was high tech at the time, man. That was high tech. That was before the Jumbotron thing came around.
I mean, what did they just borrow it from the drive-in over at on Hillsborough Avenue, and then
when it became a flea market, they pulled it out.
I think afterwards they put it in front of Mons Venus as their sign.
Yeah, there you go.
So but I mean, to me, guys, there's so much of it is memories from me as a kid. Right. It is. There is that is what it's about. And you know what? I didn't even care whether they won or lost. And you know what? There are good memories. Like I remember I was at the first Philadelphia playoff game. For those who don't remember, that was 1979 and the Bucs won. Right. And I watched Leroy Selman manhandle them. And I watched the Bucs with have long drives that just chewed up so much clock because that's how they played football.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that was an awesome game. It was so much fun. And guys,
you remember when we beat Elway and intercepted him 7 times in one game?
Yes.
That was history.
And
at that point in time, that was like the greatest game ever.
Ever. At least in our book.
In Bucs history, at that point in time, that was the greatest Bucs game ever.
Yeah. We put a whooping on him. And the next one that I think of when I start looking back at those is when we played San Francisco and we took Jerry Rice and Steve Young out.
Yeah.
Is that 97 or 98?
It was before 98.
In there, I don't remember. I'm old, man.
Yeah. At some point they all run together. Yeah. I think for me, see, my favorite games aren't even the games themselves that I remember. I remember Billy Capice missing a last second short field goal wide left.
Yeah.
And it became and my buddy Rick and I made my mom so mad as we drove home. We were like, we're hungry. Let's go. Let's get off at this exit. And she'd drive by the exit. And we were like, no, you went wide left. And she didn't get off the exit. And we kept relating everything to wide left. And that was, I remember.
And you think about some of the players and the teams that you played against back then. Don the Magic Man Bajowski or Magic Bajowski or the Magic Man.
Yeah.
And you think about some of those games, getting to see Walter Payton, getting to see Barry Sanders, and
Barry Sanders. I still remember Barry Sanders running down the sideline,
making me
clear
cry.
as a bell. I remember it.
I remember every time we played Green Bay that we'd be winning in the third quarter, and I was thinking, nah, this ain't gonna happen. That was before Favre would throw an interception every fourth quarter. He was actually winning the games for him.
But some phenomenal memories are Warren Sapp play against Brett Favre and watching Sapp chase him down when Sapp didn't have his helmet anymore because it got ripped off and he still sacked him.
Yeah, no penalty flag.
What's that?
Warren Sapp never could keep his helmet on. A friend of mine down in Tampa, Wilbur Davis, said he did some kind of a thing, and Warren Sapp lost his helmet on purpose. It was just something he did. It was one of his moves. You do a swim move or something. Yeah. He would hook his face mask up on something and pop it off on purpose. And that would cause the offensive lineman to jerk around or whatever, and he'd get by him.
Yeah, they'd ease up, and then he'd eat him for lunch.
Yeah. And that's part of his game. And I had never given it any thought till we were having an afternoon cold snack or two, and we started talking about that. And he had actually given it some thought. I was amazed. But then when I realized that, it made sense. I mean, if you go back and look at all the films, it was a technique move.
And you know what's amazing to me is that, like, I think about Favre and Sapp and the history there, and there's so much history now between Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And to see them jawing at each other and to see that going on, it's just, I mean, guys, it's like, holy cow, I remember that.
How long has it been since we've had a defensive lineman that could give you something like that?
I remember, do you remember when there was this record for how many games in a row the Bucs had a sack? It was so many games in a row. It was like 3 years worth or something. And they had a sack in every game for 3 straight years. And then it was like, they went 1 year where they had like 5 sacks or something total as a team, where it was just so bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, because the team, let's face it, Tampa is a blue collar town and they love defense. They love seeing the blue collar kind of players. That's what, that makes them.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what I love about them. So I don't know about you.
Working guys out.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to go down that road again.
For what it's worth, everybody, let me just keep you updated. The Lightning and Islanders are scoreless with 12 minutes left in the first period. And we will be here for about another 15 minutes or so, and then we'll call it a day.
So, Rick, did you cook anything tonight?
What's that?
Did you cook anything tonight?
No, I got home from work and immediately I was getting ready to go live. So I just grabbed something real quick. Okay. Yeah, nothing good tonight.
Cooking is on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
We cook in Saturday and everybody does their little book report on whatever.
And tomorrow night, I'll already tell you what I'm having tomorrow night. I'm having cabbage rolls, which is stuffed cabbage if you've ever had it, with brown mushroom gravy and not pierogies, but gnocchi with it. So
don't know what that is.
That's a good dinner. So I will be a happy man.
I think I got some butterfly pork chops on the grill coming. I think that's the answer.
Ooh, very nice. Yeah. Dude, are you still around?
He's sitting there.
Yes, sir. I too like orange.
Okay.
So let me ask you guys, just curious, out of the three of you guys, who is your favorite player during that Creamsicle era? And let's not include the Hall of Famers. Let's pre-Hall of Fame.
Okay. So before All-Star or before that Super Bowl team.
I think I would go ahead, Rick.
Well, I mean, I liked Steve DeBerg a lot. Just back in the day, I liked DeBerg. I always thought he was funny. I remember he'd go out on the field one practice every year with like an old timer's helmet, like the old leather helmet.
Right.
And he'd run real fast with it looked like an old highlight film. I mean, It was funny. I remember him joking around and doing stuff like that. I liked DeBerg a lot. Doug Williams, Leroy Selman. I mean, I'm if you're saying not the Hall of Famers, I'm not counting Williams or Doug Williams. I don't think Williams is in the Hall of Fame, is he?
Yes, he is.
Is
he?
Doug Williams is in there. Yes, sir. But he's wearing a different team.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Like James Wilder is my guy.
Yep, that's who I was going with.
Historically, James Wilder is one of the most underrated running backs in Bucs history, and I can only speak for Bucs.
He's going in next year. Mark my words. The throwback game. I'm guessing both him and Hardy Nickerson will go in.
Really?
That's my guess. Next year during the throwback game.
Well, they're doing one as a makeup. One of them is going to be Monte Kiffin because he couldn't do it COVID last year.
That's this year.
Well, they still have this year to pick because he's last season's pick. So they got to.
No, they're doing Monte this year.
So 2020. So 2020 was Monte Kiffin, but like 2021 are they doing anybody for 2020?
No, I don't think so. I think they're just doing Monte Kiffin.
Can we have a clarification here?
Yes.
Doug Williams is not in the NFL Football Hall of Fame.
I didn't think so.
No,
I didn't think so.
He is in the College Football Hall of Fame, and no disrespect to the guy, but I know when you say "but," that means here comes the disrespect.
But here comes the disrespect.
But Bucs fans, he was at that point in the Buccaneers franchise history. He was obviously the best quarterback, right? And he went on to do some good things, some great things with Washington. But the fact of the matter is, and this might be a more of a testament to the team than the player itself, but Doug Williams' career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns. This is not even a debate. That's a fact.
No, I understand.
If we're in today's standards, he wouldn't have made it to the NFC Championship game because he would have been cut. I'm just saying. And that's just the reality. But that said, favorite Creamsicle era Buccaneer, not in the Hall of Fame, and we're not talking like because technically Lynch, Sapp, Brooks, and Allstott.
Yeah,
they were in the back end of it.
We're talking real Creamsicle. Favorite player?
Yeah.
Hands down, Mark Cotney.
Mark Cotney was awesome. I was about to say Hugh Green.
Or
Hugh
Richard
Green was
Batman Batwood.
Richard Batman Wood was awesome. Yeah,
He was the original
love
Batman.
both of those guys.
I would have possibly you got to throw in Kevin House in there somewhere too.
Kevin House
Kevin
was
House.
awesome. Okay. So I got a point about this. I want to talk about this because nobody mentions Kevin House as going into the Ring of Honor, and I don't understand it.
Isn't he already there? I don't know.
No,
The problem is with the Buccaneers, if you start putting in statistical leaders of like, you know, the best wide receiver in Bucs history and blah, 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 when someone breaks those records, do you take them out and put that other guy in?
no, you never take anybody out.
Right. So what happens if 5 years in a row, somebody, you know, there's records being broke back and forth. Now you're just adding 5 guys every year.
Well, it's not because of the records. I don't. You're bringing another element in that I don't think has anything to do with it. To me, Kevin House was the excitement on a team for a number of years. He was the most exciting thing on the team. See, I'm one of the few people who did not think Jimmy Giles was as big as some people view him as. But I think Kevin House was bigger. In my memory, as a stupid kid watching the games, Kevin House
was a monster.
Yeah. I mean, he was fast. He was
big as the house too.
Yeah.
John Blakey's talking about Broderick Thomas, and that was another one.
Oh, that's another good one, John.
No. I'll tell you a story about Broderick Thomas real quick.
Hey, John, by the way, let me say this real quick, Matt. John, yeah. I just put a link in the chat, brother. If you want to come on, John, would love to have you come on.
I think Kevin House was stuck out to everybody because he was a very good player on some very bad teams. And if you want to get, you know, if we're going straight opinion, then obviously anybody's opinion. Hell, I could say, you know, that's my opinion. Statistically, Kevin House averaged 4.1 touchdowns a year over his career as a Buccaneer. That's tight end.
Yeah, but you're going right back to stats. I mean,
right. I literally just prefaced it with that.
Right.
That if we're going on emotions or opinion, that maybe Kevin House should be considered for the Ring of Honor because he was the best player on a really crappy team. So of course he stood out. And you're like, that's the man. Or maybe he was just the smartest kid on the short bus at that point.
Well, wide receivers at that point weren't putting up the kind of numbers that they are now. He only
broke 1,000 yards twice in his whole career.
But that was a lot then because there were only 14 games.
Well, in the 80s, Jerry Rice was doing it every year, and so were other guys.
No, this was before then. This was before then, wasn't it?
He was a Buccaneer from 1980 to 1986. 6 years.
Okay.
Kevin House.
Yeah.
So basically, this would be kind of like the Gerald McCoy effect.
I'm saying it's perception and reality.
And the reason I say this, and hear me out, please.
You just said the G word.
He was a good player on a mediocre team. He just
stood
out.
But he never stood. Name any play by Gerald McCoy. I can name Kevin House plays.
The problem with that is the impact plays there aren't any big impact plays for McCoy on his resume. I think we can all agree with that to an extent. What I will say about Gerald McCoy, with respect, is
he had beautiful hair.
What he was asked to do at his position by the coaching staffs he had wasn't to be Warren Sapp and get the quarterback. It was to suck up the double teams, which if you go back and watch, he did get double teamed a lot. But the problem
he did a great job at sucking.
Well, the problem is now players beat the double team.
Yeah, okay? I'm not a Gerald McCoy fan.
No, I'm not a big Gerald McCoy fan. Yeah, I think. Do you remember the knock between the two in Bucs fans' minds were when they came out, McCoy and Sue, where we want McCoy because Sue, he's too nasty of a guy. He's mean. He's horrible, right? Well, but that's literally what is made Sue have the career he had, and why McCoy hasn't stepped into that next level. He doesn't have that dog in him. He doesn't have that nasty.
Right.
That
By the way, let me ask you something, Gene. Are you a Gerald McCoy fan?
No.
Okay, shoot. Because if you were, I was going to say this would be awesome. Let's debate on your show next time.
No, the reason I brought his name up is because look at that team, top to bottom, wasn't the best team. You didn't have a lot of players that could go and start on other teams in the NFL. That's the kind of squad that the Buccaneers had. And you had Gerald McCoy, who was excelling at that time. I think 2013 was his best year ever. In his career-wise was his best year. Then he got the big contract, and the rest is history. But he was a decent player on bad teams, so he stood out. And that's why I was asking, is this the same thing that you see with Giles or some of the other players that you had mentioned in Bucs history, where they had top to bottom a not good team, but you had that one player that just kind of stuck out?
Well, you had a couple of years in the beginning, 79, 80, 81, whatever.
81, 82, yeah.
They had the pretty much the same players, but where they were winning. So it was good. And then people remember that. And then we had the 100 years of drought where we didn't do diddly squat after Doug Williams was let go.
And the thing
and it wouldn't have mattered if we'd have had every Hall of Fame player at every position. We sucked and we couldn't win. And the thing with Kevin House wouldn't help. I think you brought that up earlier. The ownership's idea back in that time was, I need to make money off of this team. And he did a very good job of that. He didn't do anything for the team to help the team become as good as it was going up until Doug Williams left. I never understood that. Why he let that happen.
He probably has the first dollar he ever made too, or at that time.
Well, and think about that on the
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Culver House had a mentality where it was a business. It wasn't a football team.
Yeah.
It was a profit and loss statement. That's all it ever was to him.
Right.
And that was apparent in everything he did to, quote, support the team. What was $1 place back then? A couple of double wide trailers and an American flag.
But that wasn't that abnormal then.
That was more than abnormal. That was cheap. However, you had teams like Dallas who had the intention was not to be the best team in Texas. They wanted to be focused on as the best team in the NFL, and God loved us. So their marketing and their making of a team and putting together rosters was the long-term effect. We want to be historic, and they did that with Landry and Staubach, Dorsett.
Kind of like the Raiders. The Raiders had that mindset too, didn't they?
Yeah, Al Davis teams. When they had Madden in there, the idea was we're not going to be forgotten, and this is Raider football.
And how many Super Bowls did they win?
Madden got one. Tom Flores got in there once, I think.
Yeah. Tom Flores won. I think he won.
Tom got one too.
They have 2 Super Bowls, I think.
Well, then they're as good as we are, right?
Hey, just to provide
a lot
perspective,
longer, brother. They've been around a lot longer.
Hey, just to provide perspective on the Kevin House thing, he is the 3rd all-time leading receiver with the Buccaneers. Okay,
right, because we stunk.
Wait. He played 7 seasons. He had 4,928 yards. By comparison, Mike Evans, granted that's Mike Evans, but we're talking, the great of the greats, has almost double that in the same amount of time. Granted, a couple more games per season.
But the league is entirely different.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so if Kevin, but that's why I wanted to keep going here. Who's the second leading receiver? Mark Carrier, who played in the same era.
I was about to say, hold on, let me figure it out. That would have been fun.
So if Kevin House belongs in, then surely Mark Carrier does. Now you see the snowball effect when
because this is why I keep saying you keep going just to statistics, as though that's the measuring stick. That's not what I'm using as a measuring stick, and you keep saying that's proving your point. I'm telling you, I don't think that's not why you put Kevin House in. It's not because he's the 3rd receiver and then you have to have whoever number 2. No, that's not at all what I'm doing. I'm saying what he did for the team during that time was big, just like Wilder. Okay. Wilder was very important. He was the team during that stretch. So yeah, I think that there's more to it than just saying, look at these statistics, because I don't think whether Mark Carrier was number 2 or not. Mark Carrier was Marco. I'm not trying to dog Mark Carrier.
Wait a minute. But you're saying
we got to look at the NFL philosophy too. The NFL philosophy now is more offense.
That's what I'm saying. It's a different league.
But you're saying that James Wilder was you said Kevin House provided the excitement on a team with no excitement, just like James Wilder did, right?
Well, Wilder was a key component.
Okay, but they played the same time.
Right.
Here's one is not the entire years, correct?
Sure they did. James Wilder was 81 to 90. I'm sorry, 81 to 89.
Right. Okay.
Kevin House was 80 to 87.
Okay. And
Who was the
you don't
quarterback
remember
during that
James?
time?
You don't remember Kevin House streaking down the sidelines?
Yeah, but I also remember Mark Carrier streaking down the sidelines. I also remember Keyshawn Johnson streaking down the sidelines and Rob Thompson.
I don't remember Keyshawn streaking down the sidelines. He wasn't fast.
Sure I do. Sure I do.
That wasn't his thing. He was a big guy that caught the ball over the middle. Okay. He was a possession receiver. That was his thing.
Right. And the point I'm trying to make is if you bring in a Kevin House or a Mark Carrier, where do you stop?
Because now I don't think you look at statistics as the reason.
Then what is the reason?
That's the story of the franchise. Look, if you don't tell the story of Mark Carrier, you can still tell the story of the Bucs. You have to include Kevin House and James Wilder if you're telling the story of the Bucs.
James Wilder, I agree. Kevin House, I don't, because I don't think he was. I'll put it this way: without James Wilder, Kevin House doesn't get those yards.
Okay.
The run game builds back then. The run game is what set up the pass back then.
Sure. So then no wide receiver goes if you're going to say that, because every team had the running back that was setting up the pass.
Well,
okay,
that's what
fine.
I'm trying to say. You can't just put in a player because he was really good at a team that was really bad.
No, I'm not. But I'm not saying that.
The elite of the elite.
To me, Kevin House was that. Kevin House was a different kind of cat. He was one of the best in the NFL to my memory, and I was a kid. Okay, so that may not be the case.
All
right, I was a kid.
Mark Navarro was playing, right?
Yeah.
Same period.
Yeah.
Mark Navarro was a better
giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked like Rambo.
Yeah.
And that dude was awesome. And he got a fan base because he was on Monday Night Football all the time.
Yeah.
And people think of his name because they saw him on Monday Night Football all the time. Kevin House didn't get Monday Night Football. Yeah. He didn't get any of that primetime stuff. We got on there once every 3 years or something. They might throw us in on an off week. And then they wish they hadn't because the game was so bad. It was always the Bucs.
Wade Sowers. I like what Wade Sowers says here. He says Kevin House was a great athlete. James Wilder was a heck of a running back. They didn't have the whole rest of the team. I agree.
Well, I agree. They had Doug Williams for a couple of years.
Yeah, I understand the thinking.
And I honestly believe that those guys could have gone to another team in the NFL. I think that's how my mind works. Can you go to another team and have the same success?
Yeah.
Wilder would have.
And I think Wilder would have. I think Kevin House would have too.
Yeah.
Regardless of where he went in his prime, I feel like he would have gone to another team and had that same success.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Anyway,
he may have had more success with more of an offense, more support on offense. I think he may have done even better.
Yeah. Okay, guys, it looks like the first period is coming to an end in the Lightning game, and it is 0-0 still. So there are 2 periods left of Lightning hockey, Tampa Bay Lightning hockey. 2 periods left. Game 7 against the New York Islanders. So let's see what happens in that game. It's going to be exciting. We'll find out. We'll find out soon what's going to happen. So let's call this a night, guys, and let's go watch some hockey.
Let's do that.
I'm good for that.
All right.
Find the program for it.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. The chat was live.
Tell everybody about where to be, where you are, where to watch you, all of that.
All right. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. I'm here on Bucs Report. Bucs Report is a great platform. Fridays, I'm starting to do more with the written content and just going over what these great writers that Bucs Report has, what they're putting out, and just kind of talking about it. Because I think there's some really interesting articles out there. Whether you go on Facebook or whether you go to bucksreport.com, really good articles that make you think, and they're great conversation starters. I mean, right now we're in the NFL, we're in a period right now where there's not a lot going on, but our writers are still churning out content, and there's a lot to talk about. So I want to try to bring to light some of this stuff on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check us out. Myself and Christina, and hopefully we'll get Rick Hughes on and some of the other great content creators here on Bucs Report.
Yep. Happy to do it. Okay, what's that shirt? Let me see your shirt.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
Nice. What's he doing? What's the picture? What's he doing?
Basically, he's got his hands. You can't really see it. He's got his hands behind his back, and he's got a baseball bat with barbed wire. And the back of his jersey said, "I will F you up." But
that's all. If you're a Walking Dead fan, all that makes sense. His "Hi, I'm Negan" is basically what
exactly.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. All right, let me go ahead and pull this back out. All right. Anybody else have any closing words? Anything you want to add?
Go Lightning.
Go Bolts.
Go Lightning.
Be the Thunder, baby.
Hey,
Be the Thunder.
I
will be in Tampa next week. So if anybody wants to hang out, I am going to be available from the 1st to the 5th.
Nice.
All right.
Very nice.
Nice. Hey, everybody tune in tonight, 11 p.m. Cup of Ray After Dark. We have no idea where he's going live from, so tune in and find out.
That'll be a great post-Lightning game show. So awesome. Awesome. All right. I'm going to head out of here. And everybody have themselves a great night. Matt, take care.
Yeah, man. I will see you later on this weekend.
All right. Sounds great. Have a great night. Everybody have a great night. And tonight, all I can say is go Bucs, go Bolts, be the Thunder.